Top 5. I am not gonna lie, I am loving this colorful phase of my life. Whatever this phase is, I'm living. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. For all my new subscribers, you know what to do. Make sure to click that subscribe button. And for all my returning subscribers, welcome back to another chaotic TV recap of Bae Beyond Borders. Okay, I just want to say a side note. I'm really trying to get into color, and let me tell you why. It's because I'm watching Bae over Borders and everything is just so colorful. Like, the girls look so good. They're putting in yellow, they're putting in green. Like, the girls are really putting in the work. So I just want to give the girls the same amount of dap by actually having color on my face. So what do you guys think? Yesterday was blue, today was pink. It's giving pregnancy reveal. I don't know, whatever. But I've decided that I'm definitely gonna like incorporate a little bit more color. I'm feeling a little bit more floral these days, and I don't know, man. I'm really just in the mood. Anyway, let me just say this. Right after I released Bae Over Borders episode 1, 2, and a little bit of 3, I then went to go watch the rest. And now, Vuvu might be the actual villain in the story. Vuvu, when I get you! Vuvu? Oh, Vuvu said, I'm not here to play. Me, I'm here to find my man. Guys, the past 3 episodes have been blowing my mind. I've been gobsmacked week after week after week, okay? So let me fill you in on what's been going on. Now, I have an idea of who each and every single man in the house is, right? So, we've got the typical Daniel Christian. Zadzi. Touch that nyash. Daniel Christian. We've got Joshua. And you can see, obviously, by everybody who's in the house, people have made alliances. Like, Daniel C and Joshua get along pretty well, even though Joshua has that fake accent. And then you've got Luciano, you've got Kingsley, and you've got Promise, who have clearly become quite close. Then you have Peter Adioze, you have is it Adi? Is it Adi? Adi Chuwake. Okay, let me not butcher his name. I'm gonna call him Adi. So it's Daniel, it's Joshua, it's Luciano, it's Kingsley, it's Promise, it's Peter, it's Adi, and the last one is Amazing is Promise, isn't it? Isn't Amazing and Promise one guy? If I'm not mistaken, that should be one guy. Who am I not counting here? Because there's 8 of them. Luciano, Daniel C, Joshua, Kingsley, Peter, Adi, Amazing, Promise. Did I count Promise? I don't know who I'm missing, but there's one guy that I'm obviously not counting. I don't know how this is happening. But the past 3 episodes have been insane. Now, obviously, the ladies are starting to go on dates with these guys, and I think this is the part of the show that is getting extremely interesting, where we are starting to see the women's true characters come into play. Now, there are quite a few love triangles here, but I can tell you that Vuvu is at the center of it all. Now, essentially, Vuvu was definitely in my top 2. She was number 2. Zezetu was always number 1. Vuvu was number 2. Nande was number 3. And Mali was number 4. But I've reshuffled the deck, okay? So let me follow you up to speed with what's been going on with each woman in the house. Now, Zeze was obviously having the kind of love debacle between Kingsley and Peter Adi. Yeah, it's Peter, ne? Peter Adioze. Now, I'm so caught between a rock and a hard place with this, because I feel like Kingsley really liked Zeze, but he was coming on too strong, and like any other woman, myself included, I would have felt really apprehensive about engaging with a man who was so forthcoming off the bat. Because my thing is, now I'm not entirely sure what you really like about me. You're kind of inadvertently sexualizing me. You're telling me you want me to meet your mom. You're telling me all these things, and I'm just like, I don't know. He wasn't giving suave. He wasn't giving Casanova. However, the date with Peter Adioze and Zeze, the sparks flew. Okay, now this is what excited me, and I think obviously what made the rest of the girls jealous. Now, Peter obviously had some sort of connection with Vuvu throughout the virtual dates, but throughout them obviously meeting in person, it seemed like Vuvu also wasn't sure which like side she was swinging towards, and then Zeze and Peter quickly built their relationship. Now, I have to say this, guys. Peter's got that thing, got a big like he's just gonna come in and he's gonna shake it up, yeah. I don't even know why that UK accent came out, but he's really giving Big Daddy energy. Like even how he talks to Zeze, he's calm, he's gradual, he tells her like what he likes about her, but he's not pushy. And for me personally, I also want a man who's not pushy. I gotta move out of the slums, really. I honestly need to move out of the slums. Like, this church bell has been great, but I don't know. Anyway, Peter was just very suave, right? So then this is where things get tricky. When Peter decides to surprise Zeze with her nails and her toes by bringing the pedicure to her. Remember that? I was like, yes, yes. This is exactly what I mean when I say I want a man, guys. I'm not asking for a man who can't think on his feet. That man was like, I've got a little gift for you. I want you to go do your nails and your toes, or your nails and your hair. And he gave her, you know the thing about the Naira to the Rand. Like I typed in 50,000 Naira on Naira to Rand, and it was literally like $1,000 in South African rands. But then again, it's the thought that counts. So let's not obviously quantify how much Peter gave her. Let's just be kind enough to accept Peter's very gracious, you know, gift, where he brought the guy to the house. And you obviously, did you see the jealousy there from Vuvu? Vuvu, we are lawyer. Vuvu, we are lawyer. Now Vuvu has moved from top 2 to the bottom. And for a series of and a multitude of reasons. Vuvu was like, to the girl, she was singing one tune and then doing the next. Like for example, I think the first thing that caught me off guard about Vuvu is when she decided to go on a date with Daniel C. And I'm like, and I think that caught Nande off guard, because Nande was like, I think obviously judging by the conversations they have on and off screen, nobody would have anticipated that Vuvu would outright go for Daniel C. That's already like a question mark, an eyebrow raiser, and so forth. Even though personally throughout the episodes, I felt like, oh, Daniel C is actually a little bit unbearable. Like he's unpalatable, he's kind of annoying. I think he knows himself. He's definitely drip daddy or whatever they call him. He's gorgeous, we can't take that away from him, but like I can't. Order, you know what I mean? Like he's great, but he's too full of himself for me. Like I think if I was Vuvu on that date and I went to that date, I would have probably been put off, even with the date with Nande. But Nande is much younger, so I think normally younger women are easily impressionable. They're impressionable because, you know, she's feeling the boy's feeling the girl. Their conversations lack a lot of depth in my opinion, but I could tell that Daniel was sweating just a little bit with Vuvu's date, in the sense that he was trying to be suave and cool, right? But I just feel like all of Daniel's dates have just no depth. Like they just really, like they're just looking at each other sexually. Like it's giving sex, it's giving sex. Like anything with Daniel C has to do with sex, and that's the one thing I think that bored me and showed me that Daniel just is capitalizing off his looks and the fact that he's literally just like a horny teenager. Sorry, honestly not sorry. Like you're just good for your looks. Like if you could just close your mouth and like just keep quiet. Like don't say anything, just nod, shake, nod. I was getting so bored. Like him and Nande, it was great, the chemistry was great, but then after some time it was like, guys, talk about things that have sense. Like talk about anything, something, you growing up, what it was like. Don't ask me how did your parents feel about a Nigerian man. Like, you know what's funny? The dates that I really enjoyed was between Vuvu and Adi, where they were doing the whole hand, you know, the hand molding. That I think had to be my favorite date by far. Even though I also like Peter's dates and I like Zeze's chemistry with Peter, I just felt like once it started unfolding how Peter was moving behind the scenes, it then just got a little bit weird. Like how Peter got touched about the fact that Zeze kissed Kingsley, and it's like, yeah, but you didn't tell me, you can't move like that. Like, why would I need to tell you? I'm on a dating show, of course I'm going to kiss guys, you know? I felt like he's like microaggression for me was a little bit off-putting. Like how he was saying to Joshua, Joshua was actually speaking to Daniel at some point. They were in the bedroom and Joshua had been moving from the table because the day that they were all linking up, obviously after their consecutive dates, Zeze was breaking it off to Kingsley, and you could see the pain in Kingsley's eyes. Like Kingsley was so hurt, but it's fine. Kingsley was just moving at a rapid pace, and Zeze's there to find the love of her life. However, Joshua then mentions to Daniel C the next day in their room that he actually tried to move to the table where Peter and them were, and Peter was like, no, you can't sit here. My girl's sitting here. No. And then Joshua was like, no, I'll move when she comes back, and he was like, no, you need to move, you know, motherfucker, like move. And I was just like, then Joshua also said something like, yeah, I used to respect him, but now I don't. And I'm just like, okay, who is this Peter character that is already given respect off the bat just like that? Like, who is he where people find themselves definitely bowing down to him, promising each other 100Ks for Nyash? And like, why is there this sudden, like, you guys need to pay attention to it. There's this sudden level, or like this unspoken weird respect towards Peter. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Because why aren't you guys calling each other out? Like, it was when Daniel was like, yeah, you guys are just a bunch of kids. And then Peter's like, yeah, who you calling kids? I'll smack you. And everyone was just kind of like more or less sharing the same consensus, kind of agreeing with Peter, kind of blindly following Peter. And I don't know. I'm just getting the feeling that Peter is the Beyonce of the group, because even after Daniel went upstairs, like, yeah, we're not going to wait for anybody to play the video. Which, yeah, that was fine. Daniel was being rude, but I just didn't understand Peter's disdain to that degree. And when I'm looking at like how Peter's being treated, I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling that they're like a little bit apprehensive around Peter. Like as soon as Peter mocked Zeze, nobody else mocked her. Like nobody. Like like they even mentioned like, I didn't really have a chance with you. Like it's giving don't come to my woman. It's giving like it's also giving a game of like kind of isolation. Like love bombing mixed with isolation. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be reading too much into this. But again, this is a dating show, you know, so you're going off people's first impressions. That is what's lasting right now. Cool. The next person that I'm going to talk about obviously is Vuvu. Vuvu has had a fair share of dates. She went out with Eric. She went out with Daniel. She went out with Adi. And she's kind of like been floating. Vuvu's just been playing some very dangerous, very spicy, very tricky things. But then again, I will give Vuvu dap because this is a dating show and Vuvu would like to find the man that she loves. However, I feel like her only reaching out to Peter was because of her jealousy towards Peter's actions when it came to Zeze. And Peter explained that, hey, you were moving like this, so I decided to move like this, which also shows me that I think Peter's also underhandedly pushy, because Zeze didn't have to break Kingsley's heart like that. She could have went on another date with him to tell him in private. Instead, she told him at the party. I was just like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, now I'm getting a lot of pressure from Peter. Pay attention to these things that I'm talking about, because these things where someone is very narcissistic occur in the smallest forms. Cool. Then, Vuvu then kind of pulls a side note trying to figure out what happened between her and Peter. I'm surprised she didn't ask Peter out on a date, because I thought that that was the tactic she was going to pull. But I don't blame Vuvu for really wanting to find out who she's meant to match with. She's a flirt. I like that. Oh, I like that. Vuvu's dates are my favorite because Vuvu, she's so intellectual. Like the things that she talks about, like the way that she engages, her flirting is subtle. There's something very, it moves effortlessly. But you know what I want to do to you? Abanandi, what do you want to do to me? Like, don't get me wrong, the chemistry is there. It's just that your dates lack depth, like they're boring. And I think maybe because I'm on the older side of the spectrum, I do want to see that subtle thing. Like I feel like with Nande, she's too giving away her cards all on the table. But then again, Daniel's also giving away all these cards, so it's fine, it works for them. But I'm just saying their dates aren't, they don't give me type of thing. Whereas Vuvu, oh yes. Even her flirting, man, it's subtle. Her eyes, ha! When they were like, you got naughty eyes, you. What do you mean? Yeah, but my flirting would sway towards Vuvu. Vuvu is definitely very alluring. I get why men kind of draw into her, but then also in the same breath, you know, they very like on the fence because Vuvu is just magically moving around like a black magic woman. Like, I'm a black magic woman, Liberian girl. Ah! And I like that. I like that Vuvu's playing the game. As much as she's not my favorite right now because of how she's moving, I like that she's moving because that is what the show is about, right? So Vuvu, you've moved down from number 2 to number 3. Nande's just superseded you in that part just because you're obviously, you're bordering a little bit of, but I'm still, get behind me! Get behind me! I got you, baby. Then we have Mali Bongwe. Now, Mali, oh man, you know what? Mali, I think she's really toned down from obviously, you know, the kind of energy that she's been giving out. Like, I will say, I was very surprised when she picked Eric again. I don't think that she did read in between the lines about Eric basically telling her that he's into other women. Unless he didn't say that at the beach. And he actually said that in his diary sessions, his confessionals, which is normally after the show, right? So I think I was quite surprised when she went on a date with Eric. I also like Mali's conversations. I like how Mali is very straightforward, very direct. I think the other two women are giving a little bit more like, I don't really see them discussing things about, no, I'm lying on Zeze's part. Because Zeze was like, if we were to date, would you marry me? Would you move? How do you feel about these things? Like individuality, individualism. So I'm actually lying, cap on Zeze. But Nande, I haven't really seen or heard anything that's of structure. But the other ladies, like Mali was talking to Eric, and Eric felt like Mali's very money driven, of which obviously any other woman would look for security and stability, but maybe Mali came across a bit too strong. But I am loving the love that is brewing between Mali and Promise, because I do feel like to a certain degree Mali was sidelined, and it was really painful to see, because I was just like, Mali's a gorgeous woman, and I think Mali obviously came in with her own energy and stuff, but when she didn't make those connections off the bat, I think that's very disheartening at the beginning. But I like the fact that she said, I dreamt about Promise. I had a dream and it was about Promise and and I dreamt about him, And Promise also kind of admitting that, you know what, I do like you. I do want to go on a date with you. It's just that Promise is very quiet and very timid. And that's okay. And that's when I felt really hopeful for Mali, because I feel like she does have a lot of love to give. It was just obviously overshadowed by the quirky character, just mixed in with a little bit of, you know, just side eye. But it wasn't with her being cancelled or me thinking that she's another character that she's not, of course. And then Nande obviously went on a date, but Nande has got her heart stuck on Daniel, and to be really honest, they are my favorite couple right now. I think I'm really loving Nande and Daniel because their connection kind of hit off from virtual dates. She hasn't swayed, and I love that about her. I love a woman who knows what she wants. I love a man who also kind of knows what he wants. Like Daniel hasn't really swayed. He wants Nande and Nande wants Daniel. And that's so cute, guys, because it's very rare in dating shows that you find people who pair together so good that, you know, they don't really want to see other people. So I'm surprised to see how the next few episodes are going to play out, because are the girls not meant to go on dates with each and every single one of these guys in order to decipher the kind of characters that they are? Because it seems like Nande has made up her mind. She is definitely Nande Christian, no, Nande Amaka, I don't know how to pronounce Nande's surname, but Ramukaku or something. But now she could be Nande Amaka Christian. Like, my girl is set on her man. And I love that for her, and I love that for him. I feel like Daniel plays big, but in actual fact, he is enamored. He is enamored with Nande. Like, he is completely infatuated with her. Every time I see them when they're together, as opposed to when he's in his confessionals, you can see him kind of toning down and showcasing that I want you type of thing. It is mixed in with a lot of sexual innuendos, but at the end of the day, that's what infatuation consists of. A lot of lust, a lot of excitement. So it's cool. I like that, and I really hope that Daniel does actually, you know, become this man that we're hoping for him to become. Drip daddy. Eric, honestly, I think he's a scam. I think Eric is a scam. He's a scammer. Talking about I've got a house here in Lagos and Abuja and da 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 da, and saying girls want money. What else must we want? Guess, Sanalwa. What must we want? Because you're getting onto a dating show to find commitment and love. But do you honestly think that a woman's going to get on the show, travel across country, be willing to do long distance without any sort of remote stability? I think you need to go back to school or the basketball court where you keep playing, because clearly your head is more in the gym than it actually is on structure. Like, I honestly, Eric, you not interested, not at all. Luciano seems like a nice guy, but I just don't think he's gonna make any connections in the house. I think the women have shared their consensus about him. I think the women were quite mean to him. Like Vuvu saying, I wish you could be a little bit taller. And Mali also mentioning that, which is crazy business. Like, guys, you can see that this guy's not tall. But why don't you give him an opportunity to express himself in another type of way? Like, you guys already, like, pointing out things about himself that he cannot change were just so... I don't know, something about it was just so crass to me. Like, it was just very uncouth, you know. It was just like, you don't have to say it because he can't change it. And you were saying it in a very, oh man, I don't know how to say it. It was unscrupulous, man. You were joking about it and it was meant to be frivolous, but it wasn't, okay? So I didn't really like that at all. I was just like, you know what, the both of you can actually go to hell. Because you didn't have to say that to Lucian, right? Luciano. And then Promise, I don't really know how I feel about Promise at the moment, but I will say this, I am feeling Adi. Oh. When he went on the date with Vuvu, and like you saw his muscles, like I saw Adi. Adi's actually gorgeous with the dreads and stuff like that. Adi's actually gorgeous. I don't think Adi gets enough screen time because they're busy giving screen time to fucking ASAP Rocky / whatever the hell Daniel's supposed to be. Like, ugh. They're not giving Adi enough screen time, in my opinion. Joshua's gotta go. I don't even know what Joshua's still doing, yeah? Joshua's gotta go. Joshua, pack it up, ho. Another person that I think, obviously, the time has run its course for him is definitely... I don't know. There's 4 women and there's 8 guys. Or 7, I don't know. But we obviously know Zeze. I have a feeling Zeze is going to end up with Peter. Nande's going to end up with Daniel. Vuvu, I see an opportunity for her and Adi to actually build. I think I like them. And then you've got Mali with Promise. So it's only Luciano and Joshua and somebody else. Unless this person has already been eliminated. I don't remember who this person would be. Is it not Amazing? But Amazing is Promise. Promise's other name is Amazing, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, guys, yes, it went from a 7.5 to a 9.8. Like, things are picking up. Like, I'm loving how things are structured. I think this was an accurately planned show. I think that they put the time, the thought, and the process into this in terms of how the dates were gonna go. I think it is a combination of different types of shows that we've seen prior to this, but I think that this show is actually a lot better than I anticipated. I think the first 2 episodes are normally clickbaity, normally shock moments to obviously get you into watching the show. But throughout the episodes where people are building these relationships, it is actually becoming more and more interesting by time. So I am loving it right now. It's got a solid 9.5. Not 10 yet. It still might be a stolen concept. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Still might be a stolen concept, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying everything that I'm seeing right now. Comment down below and let me know who is your favorite couple right now and why. Who should be eliminated? Who do you think is actually gonna make it out the house? Or do you think these women are just playing a strategic game just to walk out the house alone and with a newfound sense of fame? Comment down below. But until then, I will see you guys on the next TV recap of Bae Beyond Borders.